Hi, BookTube. It's Gina. Happy Friday. How are you? I'm doing well. The weather here is a little gray and it's not raining, which makes me happy. I prefer it to be a little sunnier, but I am in the minority when it comes to that. So I'm just enjoying the cooler temperatures, but hoping for a little upcoming sunshine. I've got, okay. I'm working on trying to stop saying So if anybody wants to count the number of ums in this video and let me know, that's my goal, is to stop doing the ums. I was listening to a radio show, an interviewer the other day, and the woman he was interviewing kept saying, and it just, I couldn't listen to the interview because I found it so annoying. So I want to stop saying so much and honestly stop saying so much. I find that it is a bit of a lazy tick. So anyway, I'm gonna do a Friday Reads video today. I wanted to share with you what I have finished since I talked to you last and what I am currently reading. What I finished is Sense and Sensibility. I think I told you I had finished this, but I couldn't remember. But I did finish this since I talked to you last, and I just wanted an excuse to show you this beautiful edition. Isn't that cover cool? This is an Airmont classic. I'm not familiar with that publisher actually, but isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous cover? I read this on my Kindle because that's generally what I do, but I just thought this cover was gorgeous. And I loved this book. I read it for Jane Austen July. Did I already say that? I forgot. And I hadn't read this in a few years, and I really enjoyed it upon rereading it. It was wonderful. I thought it was very, very good. Finished that. This month, since September, I have been doing a little Star Trek reading. Now, I know this is not most people here's favorite, but I do love Star Trek books. During the pandemic, I just said, good grief, it's getting worse. I did a rewatch of all of the Star Trek series, up through Enterprise. I stopped on Enterprise because it wasn't on the streaming service that I had at the time. And so I watched a few episodes of Enterprise and then it went away. So I didn't finish watching it. But I watched all of the older series from start to finish in order. And it was so much fun to do that. And it kind of helped get me through the pandemic. I would finish my workday, I would pour myself a drink, I would pop on an episode of Star Trek, and it was just so much fun. And since then, I had never read a Star Trek book, and since then I co-hosted Book Trek in the beginning, but I'm not co-hosting anymore. I couldn't keep up with the summer of Trek, although I still love reading Star Trek books. And this is the Genesis Wave, Book 1 by John Vornholt. And I enjoyed this book. It is a next generation book. It features Geordie LaForge. I gave it 4 stars. I was going to give it 5 stars, but the characterizations in this book are a little weird. They made Geordie a little more awkward, I think, than he even is in the series. And I didn't really care for that, but I really enjoyed the story. It was a lot of fun. It's actually a 3-book series and maybe could have been squished down. I'm not sure that there's enough meat on the bone here to warrant more than 1 book, but I am currently reading the 2nd book. So I did read this one on paper. I bought the 3 books. I think, did I buy them? I can't remember where I bought them, but I bought them online. I must have got them on Thrift Books because I did not buy them new. And So I did immediately, upon finishing book 1, start in on book 2. My library doesn't have these on Kindle, so I am resorting to having to read the paper editions, and also really enjoying this one. A little more than halfway through with it, and we'll hop right into book 3 when I finish book 2, because I am really enjoying this series. I also finished, I was just in the mood. I was in the mood for a cozy reread. So I did reread September by Rosamunde Pilcher. This is a beautiful new paperback edition by Thomas Dunn Books, St. Martin's Griffin. Also not familiar with this, but I do have this edition of The Shell Seekers. And I'd like to find Coming Home and Winter Solstice in these editions if I can find them used. I bought these new at Third Place Books, and I do like to support that bookstore when I see something that I want. So I did buy these new, but I'm not going to buy all of them new because they're just too expensive. $16.99 for a paperback. But I read this on my Kindle. I love this book. It is very dear to me. It is set in Scotland. Got a great old lady main character named Violet Aird, and it surrounds her family, and she's kind of the matriarch, but she lives in a I'm going to say a little cottage, but it's probably not that little. Her son and his wife live in the big fancy house, and they are, of course, rich. They all have help that comes in. Of course, Vi's help is also now her best friend, which I always find a little funny. Is that a real thing in England? Is your housekeeper that you've known for 50 years going to be your best friend? And do people even have housekeepers anymore that come in every week or every couple days to do for you? This book was written in the 90s, and I would say it's probably a little bit dated at this point, but I love it. It's fantastic. I read it on my Kindle. I don't know that I own all of the Rosamunde Pilcher books on Kindle, but I own a lot of them. And when I want something to just cuddle in with in bed at night, this does the trick. I think I'm due for a read of The Shell Seekers. I looked at my Goodreads, and it has been a few years since I read The Shell Seekers. So I think that will be my next cozy reread. Okay. Next, I'm also reading this. I'm reading on my Kindle, No Fond Return of Love by Barbara Pym. I have a few of these old paperbacks. These are Perennial Library, Harper and Row. And I do love these. I have one box set and then a few more of these, and I love them. I am reading this, though, on my Kindle, because my library has it on Kindle. So I am reading this on my Kindle, and I just started it, so I'm not too far in, but I love all of her books. But did I say Barbara Pym? I can't remember, but I am reading that. And then lastly, I did reserve, and it came in, what's it called? A Risk Worth Taking by Robin Pilcher. I realize I've never read anything by Robin Pilcher, which is Rosamunde Pilcher's son. I have no idea if he's any good or if I will love his books, but I thought, you know what? This could potentially open up a whole new avenue of books if I do end up enjoying him. So I will read it and let you know what I think. And I'm really looking forward to it because I have a feeling it's going to be good. So that's it for me. What are you reading? Anything cozy, anything good? I'd love to hear about it. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.